What's going on, everyone? This is WishSpots, and today we're counting down the 10 best travel destinations on our planet to add to your 2026 bucket list. If you've already been lucky enough to stand before these horizons, you know the reality is much deeper than a photo. So as we go through, I want to hear your personal impressions in the comments. But pay close attention to our number one pick. It's a location so remote and so pristine, most travelers believe it's physically impossible to reach. Before we dive in, if you live for high-end discovery, hit that subscribe button and join the WishSpots vault. First up, we're headed to Patagonia. We begin at the jagged edge of the South American continent. Patagonia isn't just a place, it's a sensory assault that feels like a separate planet. Most travelers come for the Instagram photos, but they stay for the sound. Imagine standing before the Perito Moreno Glacier, a wall of blue ice 250 feet tall and 3 miles wide. It doesn't just sit there, it breathes. You'll hear it crack with the volume of a cannon blast as skyscraper-sized chunks of ice collapse into the water below. But here is what the brochures won't tell you. While everyone crowds the walking paths of the national parks, the real treasure is hidden within General Carrera Lake. The marble caves are a 6,000-year-old geological masterpiece where the glacial water hasn't just eroded the rock, it has chemically dissolved the calcium carbonate to create swirling, psychedelic blue and white patterns that change color based on the water level and the light of the season. You come here to feel the raw, unfiltered power of a world that is still under construction. Leaving the thundering ice behind, we move across the globe to a different kind of water, one that is slowly disappearing. Next, we head to the Indian Ocean, to a nation that is technically sinking at a rate that has scientists terrified. The Maldives is composed of 1,192 coral islands, but the elite secret is that they aren't just sandbanks. They are the high-altitude rims of an ancient, submerged volcanic mountain range that stretches for hundreds of miles under the deep blue. This is the lowest-lying country on Earth, with an average height of just 5 feet above sea level. This makes every sunrise a precious, fragile moment. You aren't just coming for an overwater villa, you're coming for the Ba Atoll UNESCO Biosphere Reserve. During the high tide, the currents funnel massive amounts of plankton into Hanafaru Bay, allowing you to swim with hundreds of manta rays and whale sharks in a feeding frenzy that looks like a choreographed celestial dance. If you visit Vadhu Island at night, a phenomenon called bioluminescence turns the beach into a glowing neon blue star field. It feels like walking through a digital render. It's luxury, yes, but it's luxury with a prehistoric soul. It's a liquid light show. But wait until you see our number 2 pick in Turkey, where the lights in the sky are replaced by a silent army of balloons. But the ocean isn't the only place with hidden depths. If we trade the crystal blue for the burning orange of the desert, we find a city carved by water wizards, Petra. A full day is not nearly enough to process the scale of Petra. Most people snap a photo of the treasury and head back to their hotel, but they are missing the greatest engineering masterpiece of the ancient world. The Nabateans were the world's first water wizards. In a desert that receives less than 6 inches of rain a year, they engineered a sophisticated system of dams, cisterns, and ceramic pipes that allowed a city of 30,000 people to thrive with flowing fountains and lush gardens. To truly earn your elite traveler status, you must hike the 800 hand-carved stairs to the monastery, Ad Dare. It is nearly 50 meters wide, much larger than the treasury, and it was carved from the top of the mountain down to the floor. Think about the precision required. One mistake, one cracked stone, and the entire monument would have been ruined forever. When the sun hits the yellow sandstone at 4 p.m., the entire mountain looks like it's literally on fire. It is a haunting, silent city that reminds us that even the most advanced empires can eventually vanish into the sand. The desert engineers were masters of water, but high in the Andes, we find a civilization that were masters of gravity. High in the Andes, we find a civilization that mastered physics long before the invention of the wheel. Machu Picchu is the headline, but the real mystery is in the Sacred Valley. Look closely at the walls. They aren't held together by cement or mortar. This is ashlar masonry, multi-ton granite blocks cut so precisely they lock together like a 500-year-old puzzle. These stones were actually designed to dance. Because Peru is a high seismic zone, the Incas built their walls to be earthquake-proof. During a tremor, the stones shift with the vibrations, absorbing the energy and then settling perfectly back into place. This prehistoric technology is a level of engineering we still struggle to replicate today. Looking at these stones, it's hard to believe they were cut without modern tools. Does this look like ancient technology to you or something else? Drop your theory in the comments. I read every single one. If the Incas treated granite like a puzzle, our next stop treated marble like liquid art. In Agra, India, stands a monument that was nearly sold for scrap metal in the 1830s. Thankfully, the Taj Mahal survived to remain the world's most perfect building. Emperor Shah Jahan built a massive optical illusion. The 4 minarets at the corners actually tilt slightly outward. This was a genius failsafe designed in 1632. If an earthquake hit, the towers would fall away from the central dome, protecting his wife's resting place. The white marble is an inlay masterpiece. Using the Petra dura technique, artisans spent 22 years embedding semi-precious stones like lapis lazuli and jade directly into the marble. At dawn, the building is a soft pink. By noon, it's a blinding white. And under a full moon, it glows a ghostly blue. It is a building that breathes with the light. Symmetry is a human obsession, but for the true scale of eternity, we must go back much further, to the cradle of civilization. The Great Pyramid of Giza was the tallest man-made structure on Earth for nearly 4,000 years. We still don't fully know how they moved 2.3 million stone blocks with such precision. But the true destination for those who seek the depth of history is Luxor. Imagine the Karnak Temple Complex, a forest of 134 massive sandstone columns rising 70 feet high. You come here to feel small. You stand in the Valley of the Kings, where the vibrant blue and gold paints on the tomb walls haven't faded in 3,000 years because they were sealed in a perfect vacuum. This isn't just history, it's a physical encounter with the eternal. It is the only place on Earth where the weight of time feels like a physical pressure against your chest. From the pillars of the Nile, we move toward the spine of a dragon that stretches across an entire continent. Stretching over 13,000 miles, the Great Wall is the largest man-made object in history. But the secret that kept the Ming Dynasty section standing for 600 years is sticky rice. Ancient Chinese engineers mixed sweet rice flour into the mortar, creating a chemical bond so strong that even today, weeds cannot grow between the bricks. Avoid the crowded tourist sections. Head to Mutianyu or Jinshanling at sunset. Walking the spine of the stone dragon as it winds through the misty mountains is a visual masterpiece. It is proof that human ambition knows no borders. If you're finding value in these hidden history facts, smash that like button. It helps other explorers find us. While China built a wall to keep the world out, our next stop feels like nature's final open invitation. New Zealand feels like it was designed by a team of elite landscape architects. It offers every biome on the planet within a few hundred miles. You've heard of Milford Sound, but have you heard the silence of Doubtful Sound? It's 3 times larger and 10 times more remote. This is the 8th wonder of the world. Glaciers carved these fjords so deep that the mountains rise 1,600 meters straight out of the water like jagged teeth. From the volcanic healing waters of Rotorua to the snow-capped Southern Alps, New Zealand is nature's final flawless design. It is the ultimate reset for the soul. From the fjords of the south, we head north to a landscape that was literally turned inside out. Taking the silver medal is Cappadocia. This landscape was formed by volcanic ash millions of years ago, which solidified into a soft rock called tuff. The formations on the surface are stunning, but the true mystery is beneath your boots. There are over 200 underground cities here. The largest, Derinkuyu, once housed 20,000 people and descends 18 floors into the earth. You visit for the hot air balloons. Seeing 150 of them rise in perfect silence over the valley at 5 a.m. is life-altering. But you stay for the cave hotels. Sleeping in a luxury suite carved into a 2,000-year-old rock wall will make every other hotel feel ordinary by comparison. But as we reach the top of our list, the noise of the world finally disappears. Antarctica is the only place on Earth that is not a country. It belongs to no government, governed only by a treaty dedicated to peace. It is the largest desert on Earth, holding 90% of the world's ice, yet receiving less rain than the Sahara. Reaching Antarctica is a pilgrimage of the soul. You must cross the Drake Passage, the roughest water on the planet, to prove you're worthy. Once you arrive, the silence is so thick you can hear your own heartbeat. You'll witness the Lemaire Channel, a narrow passage between 1,000-meter ice cliffs where humpback whales breach yards from your boat. It is the last truly pristine place on our planet, and it will change the way you see the rest of the world forever. Traveling to these 10 locations isn't just about ticking boxes on a map. It's about expanding the borders of your own reality. But the world is full of even deeper mysteries. If you want to see the neon liquid magic of Yellowstone and other spots that defy every law of nature, you need to watch our deep dive into the 5 breathtaking landscapes that feel otherworldly. You can click that video right here on the screen. Don't forget to subscribe to WishSpots to stay ahead of the curve in 2026.